And it's a hard question. I don't know. I have some things you could start with. They're going to sound wacky. You're going to think I'm crazy because it's the way pro wrestling is now. So a lot of my suggestions are going to sound like impossible things to do. You know what I would start with? I would never do a backstage segment ever again. Not one. How about that? How about that to make you feel different and set you apart? Wholesale, full stop. We're never going to the back. Ever again. Not for an interview. Not for something's happening back there. Not for MJF mulling around, knocking on doors, looking for tag team partners with the invisible camera. Never. No more backstage segments. Let's start with that. And a lot of you are probably saying, how can you have a wrestling show without ever having a backstage segment? And that's part of the problem. Because that's just how wrestling is now. Not if I were in charge. Why does it have to be that way? I remember a 5 years younger, fresh-faced Tony Khan telling the wrestling media that my show is going to be different. All the action's going to take place in and around the ring. Oh, how quickly that changed. And yeah, the occasional backstage segment. Again, not a big deal. Just like having a recap of the prior week at the top of the show, something that Dynamite has almost never done, by the way. But guess who does do that? Isn't on its own anything off-putting or offensive to sensibilities. But when combined, when you have tons of backstage, when you're constantly going backstage, when you combine all of these elements of what we've seen on pro wrestling television over the 20 years, your product then becomes indistinguishable. So no more backstage segments, ever. You want to do promos, you do them on the ramp with Tony Schiavone holding the microphone in front of the crowd. Everything happens in and around the ring. You want to do the occasional pre-tape to get a wrestler over. You want to do some pre-taped vignettes or something like that. That's fine. No more to the back. Just eliminate it. No more staring at monitors. Crooked angle, straight on angle from the back of the monitor. No more. No more staring at monitors. Just eliminate it. Don't ever do it again. Why do you need to do that? We all know who these people are feuding with. Don't ever say the words rematch clause on your television ever again. Simple change. Lazy booking crutch. WWE staple. And don't start typing up your replies or your DMs or anything else. Run into the little Discord to tell me that in 1972, in your favorite territory, they were talking about rematch clauses. I don't care. I'm not moved by that. It's now known as a WWE trope. It's gone. We're never doing it again. They co-opted it. It's over. And besides that, it's lazy and reductive. And you're better than that. Or you should be better than that. You used to be better than that. This is a promotion in dire need of a hard reset. It just is. From the top down, they need to tear this thing up and start over. And you know, Tony Khan's not going anywhere, and he never will go anywhere, and we know that. So it can't start there. whoever he's listening to, listen to someone else. Tony likes to tell everybody how Jimmy Jacobs is his right-hand man, travels with him everywhere, has called him a genius. I wouldn't listen to him anymore. I don't know specifically what Jimmy Jacobs has his fingerprints on. I won't speculate either. But if Tony is willing to call him his number 2 and his right-hand man, and someone he spends the most time with, and a genius, well then, it's not much of a leap to think that he has a very heavy influence on what we're currently seeing on the screen. He's gone. Give him something else to do. He can go help on promos on ROH, or there's some use for him. But clearly, in his role now, it's not helpful. You've hired all of these people, and it's just gotten worse. And your product has just gotten more indistinguishable from WWE. And it's a problem. They have an identity problem more than anything else. We know this company can produce great matches. I think the booking has been more focused since the all-in, all-out, back-to-back pay-per-views. I'm not thrilled with the stories they're telling and the way that they're telling them, but there's clearly more booking focus. It's not all terrible. It's not all bad. It's an identity problem that this company is having right now, because they no longer have an identity. And it requires a strip down from the top down. You have a top star and world champion who, let's be honest about this, he has terrible ideas. He wants to build his matches around kangaroo kicks and scissoring and all of this nonsense, which is fine. It might get a pop in front of the increasingly smaller crowds that this stuff is drawing. But again, it contributes to the identity issue. It seems to me that this promotion has run off the wrestling fans. This used to be a promotion that wrestling fans were happy to support because it resembled pro wrestling. And as we continue to veer closer and closer to sports entertainment, and quite frankly, that's what this company is. It's a sports entertainment company now. That's what it is. It seems as though those fans are gone. Maybe those are the people who are no longer buying the tickets. I don't know if I'm right. It seems like a solid theory. And it seems like the secondary sports entertainment company would be the one that puts 4,000 people in a 20,000 seat basketball building in a tradition-rich wrestling town. And then those 4,100 people sit on their hands all night. Dead crowd last night. Which also hurt the show to some degree. Oh, they wanted their scissoring, though, because that's what you're drawing now. I think there's a good chance a lot of the current AEW ticket-buying fan base are also WWE fans, and there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But this was a company built on the identity of we are not WWE. We don't do what they do. We're an alternative. We're going to do things our way. We're going to do things different. And that rallied that base of people who were sick of the WWE product. And I don't know that those people are there anymore.